Welcome to Konoha Crush, a clandestine effort to exhaustively research and document events occurring in and around the village hidden in the leaves. I am Maria.
It's Mel.
Hello, we are here again. We are, making another episode a second week in a row, which, basically confirms that this is for real. The podcast is back.
We're fucking
You know,
back.
we're fucking back, yeah.
Ah!
On it, ideally, no guarantees. You never know when something will happen, but ideally, uninterrupted Konoha Crush content for at least 2 months, and then we have a mysterious break coming up. But that one is good. So
Yeah, it's a good break to have.
yeah. But how have you been? Is there anything you've been up to in your week that you want to talk about, or just give us a general Mel update?
Oh gosh. No.
Okay, reasonable. Some weeks are like that. I have basically just been on the same shit I was on last time. You know, I have been reading X-Men comics like I was before. I am still having fun with that. I have been continuing to slowly poke away at Cold Steel 4, which is the only way I find myself capable of doing that, because I have to play it on a console, which is weird to me because I bought it on the PlayStation 4. I think I talked about this before, but it is maybe I did not talk about this on the podcast, but I have bemoaned this in many sort of situations. So if you see me elsewhere, you've probably heard about it. So it is that, and it is the fact that every time anything happens, there are 600 fucking characters in that game that have to chime in. And it is it is a little bit much. It is a little bit much. That is an exaggeration, but it is a little bit much.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the other thing is that, again, still not really watching any anime, but the conclusion more or less of the first big main story of Honkai Impact Third happened, which was it was a kind of like an emotional moment for me, because I have come to care about that thing a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it
needs
was.
to. It needs to. It needs to. It needs to engage further with Honkai Impact.
Well, whenever she would like to, I would be happy to
Mm-hmm.
be there along for the ride as much as she would like me to.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see that come to an end. I was very satisfied in a lot of ways. I think it really hit the buttons that it needed to for me, in spite of some kind of compounding translation issues, leading to a problem where it was yeah, because the translation, especially for a lot of the the narration text, is a little bit iffy, and there's this weird sense of every once in a while a new proper noun that you have not seen before will pop up, and it is hard to be sure if this is a new term that they are introducing, or if it is an old term that is now suddenly translated differently. And but they are sure talking about it is important. It's just all these little compounding translation issues that led to this situation where, in terms of the actual events that happened, I feel like I would not be able to give you a very accurate description of why things happened the way they did, right? Characters will talk about oh, here's the result of the final battle, and I'm sure, yeah, okay. I have not followed you from point A to point B, but I accept that you are at point B, and I'm largely emotionally satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it gets extremely self-indulgent in some ways that I would find kind of galling were I not so deeply sentimental about the property. But on the whole, it was just cool to see that happen. I love the girls. I'm rooting for the future of the girls going. Whatever goes forward. But it was cool to see them kind of bring something that had been going on for so long home for a conclusion, even if because of the way of gacha games, there's just going to be a next thing, like a new thing starting next month.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was pretty fun. I guess I mean I'm being pretty vague and not really talking about a lot of specifics, but that is just the way of these first sections sometimes, where I do not want to get into a bunch of narrative details or whatever.
Yeah. That's just how it works.
That is just how it works. I mean, again, Millicent was just talking about how she wanted to, get more into it. So I'm not just gonna fucking do an ending explained podcast, even if I was capable to. I just said I was maybe not. So I mean, I could tell you what happens. It's just like, some of the particulars get a little fuzzy in the somewhat muddled translation quality. But yeah, that is what I had to say. Would you like to talk about Naruto?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so Naruto's a little boy. He wears orange.
Uh-huh. What is his favorite trick?
Eat ramen.
Okay, what are some other tricks that he knows? Let us like run down his like Pokemon moveset. What are the three other ones?
Shadow Clone,
Yeah.
Rasengan.
Uh-huh.
All right, so eat ramen, Shadow Clone, Rasengan, Kiss Sasuke.
Frog? Oh, Kiss Sasuke is a good one. Kiss Sasuke is more important than Frog.
Yeah. Okay. Ready to go?
Yeah. Let us get into it.
Okay. Episode 139, Pure Terror, The House of Orochimaru. Naruto's pissed off at Orochimaru for fucking with the Fuma clan, and Jiraiya explains how he knew that Sasame had gotten mixed up with Orochimaru's guys and planned to betray them. Naruto and Sakura defend her, saying she was manipulated and just wants to see Arashi. Jiraiya relents and says her punishment is to go home after they find the entrance to the Sound Village. At the front gate, Jiraiya summons Gamakichi to scout out ahead. The gang follows behind when they come across a three-way fork in the road. Jiraiya and Gamakichi each take a side path, with Naruto and Sakura going down the middle. Jiraiya walks through a scary swinging lantern hallway to find a scary pretty lady playing a koto. And Naruto and Sakura just find some regular dart and spike traps they narrowly avoid, at least until Naruto falls in a spike hole.
Okay, right. So before we get into this episode proper, I want to like sort of, do a little bit of talking about like the production behind these episodes. So like our 3 episodes this week, in spite of everything else I might have to say about them, and I will have things to say about them, are like they have like a pretty strong storyboarder lineup, right? Like this one is Masahiko Murata, who I have talked about before, as somebody who occasionally had like a a little bit of extra dramatic flair to episodes he storyboarded, and then also did the What's Behind Kakashi's Mask episode. And I feel like in this episode, like you get a lot of like we get a lot of like really fun stuff from him, both in terms of like there is a very concerted effort to like play with the sort of like stylization of the lighting, right? Like you get a lot of like very angular like geometric shadows that are like cast across the characters' faces at like kind of weird angles and like at like different places depending on where the characters are, like the plane that the shot is constructed on. You get a lot of like there's just like a bunch of like really fun stylization here, and like a sort of heightened like a little bit silly like kind of like comedy vaguely horror thing as they go into like Orochimaru's weird haunted house in this episode.
Yeah.
And I think that stuff is a lot of fun. I think this episode is like very visually distinctive, right? Like when I last watched through all of Naruto, which was like when I first watched these episodes, because that was the first time I decided I was going to watch all of the anime original stuff. Like this is the episode that like really made me like sit up and take notice of Masahiko Murata, because I think it has a lot of it has a lot that really sets it apart from the episodes around it.
Yeah, this episode looks great. I mean, like, as far as what Mel was like expecting out of anime original episodes, it thinks all 3 episodes this week like look pretty all right.
Yeah. No, again, like I will talk about the people we have on the other episodes as we get there, but like this one was it was like a lineup like 3 in a row that I was like kind of surprised for, because I know that some of these people kind of like drift away during the anime original stuff. Murata sticks around for like a fairly large chunk of it. There's a few other episodes of his that I remember pretty clearly. This time he has like there are a few like outstanding animators here, like Tetsuya Takeuchi is here on this one, which like really there's like really great stuff from him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess the one like a little bit of like stylistic fire I want to talk about before we get into the episode proper, which I guess is like is appropriate because it's like right at the beginning of the episode, is that like instead of the usual like episode title treatment, it like pops up on screen in like bright red letters that then like fucking drip down the screen like blood. Like not like it is not like an actual like intensely animated effect, but it is very like this kind of like so sort of cheap looking digital like here's the title that like fucking melts off the screen in a way that's like clearly trying to evoke that kind of like goofy horror space that I thought was really a really fun like tone setter for this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the episode starts, and you know, Jiraiya is like here to provide some further. But before that, there is a bit where Naruto is like, "Hey, Jiraiya, how the fuck did you know that Sasame was planning to poison us? You're fucking terrible at detecting when you're being poisoned."
Yeah.
Yeah, which like is like I guess like a bit that also has like a little bit of payoff for the second half of this episode.
Uh-huh.
And Jiraiya's like, well, and then never one for impressing 12-year-olds. Like, you see, I basically lucked into somebody who told me. And and, he outlines a little bit more about the situation of the Fuma clan, about how like, so I guess they have their own village that is like not the village hidden in the sound, and like maybe not even a hidden village, is just kind of where they are like based out of, right? And like Orochimaru like manipulated things in that village such that like the people who did not want to like work with him, or were at least like opposed to him, were like kicked out of the village and like branded as traitors. So when Sasame in the previous episode was like, "Oh, Hanzaki, that guy is a traitor," like that was how he knew that she was working for Orochimaru. But like this is like, it still feels like a little weird to me. Because presumably like we like saw Sasame being like pulled into like working for Orochimaru like in a flashback in the previous episode, right? And like presumably there are people who are just like in that village, wherever that is. We do not see it. We do not like circle back around to the idea that there is like a village with some Fuma clan guys who are like mostly elsewhere ever again.
Yeah. And like mostly normal.
Yeah, right. But like if she was just in that village and like was not recruited into like working with Orochimaru before, like there is like no actual reason for her like viewing like Hanzaki and his bros as like traitors, because that is just like the like understanding that like apparently all of like normal Fuma clan guys we do not see like have.
Yeah.
I do not know. It is just like, it is so weird because like all 6 of the episodes in Zark have the same writer.
Yeah.
But I feel like they never quite like have all of the details like fit together in a way that like ever seems like everybody was talking to each other, even though it was the one guy. Like unless there's something going on here where like the writer credit on these is like some like committee name or something, which I do not think it is, but I did not do the research to like back up this thing that I'm saying right now, so I might look like a fool later. But like it just it never quite like meshes for me, I suppose.
Yeah, it just doesn't quite track, right? Like it is a little bit strange.
Like in spite of this knowledge, Naruto and Sakura are still like determined to like defend Sasame, make sure that Jiraiya doesn't like kill her or whatever. I do not know what they really expect him to be planning for, but ultimately he's cool with it. He does just like, her punishment is to like not go with us into Orochimaru's base and just like go back to like people who will keep her safe or whatever, right?
Yeah.
There's like some more like fun like visual stuff in the scene. Like I think it is like when Jiraiya is like flashing back to his conversation with Hanzaki, it is like in this like extremely moody, like dimly candlelit room that he's like sitting across the table, like talking to him with, which is like this very, it's just like very heightened in a way that I find charming. And again, like the shot composition in this episode is just like consistently like a lot of fun for me. But anyway, they head out to find the entrance to the Sound Village. And as you said in your summary, Jiraiya summons Gamakichi, and I have to like, I do not know why he does this.
So Gamakichi can be here.
Right, but like every time Gamakichi showed up previously, it was the direct result of somebody like not being able to summon well, and then he was like kind of a comedy guy who was not good at being in a fight. And here Jiraiya is like, okay, we're gonna summon Gamakichi and just have him like walk directly straight ahead into Orochimaru's base to check for traps. Like, was Jiraiya like expecting like later having to go talk to Gabuto to be like, hey, yeah, sorry, we fucking minced your boy.
Yeah. Maybe Jiraiya and Gamabuta had a conversation. Gamabuta was just like, all right, so far the kid's getting summoned now. That's cool. That's fine. You're gonna have to find some like softballs for him.
Okay. Like he was like secretly like hanging back and making sure Gamakichi wasn't getting in too much trouble, is what you were saying.
Yeah, or just like, you know.
Or maybe he knew that Orochimaru's traps were not that dangerous to a small frog.
Yeah, or even just trusted that, like, okay, Gamakichi, right? Like, if you get in too much trouble, just fucking poof, just get out of here, right? Like, you're a summon, you can do that.
But like they just like sent him like down the stairs, like down the hallway, and like wait behind him, and it just like that is the person. That is the person, and also a baby.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Gamabunta. We threw your boy on a pressure plate and he got dart trapped.
I cannot believe it.
It's fine.
I mean, it all works out fine, so you know.
Yeah, Gamakichi gets some like practical ninja training.
Yeah, can you fucking imagine if they were like, hey, Masashi Kishimoto, like we want to be able to like make the stakes kind of big in this like these like anime original arcs. Can you give like us a list of like guys we can kill? He was like, yeah, sure, you can have Gamakichi, and he got just fucking like brutally like dismembered like in this episode out of nowhere.
Just fucking.
Because it's like like again, this is not something that happens. But just I feel like it would be like vaguely in keeping with like some of the ways that this arc tries to make it seem like, oh, this is a big deal actually, and like like genuinely to its own detriment.
Yeah.
So like if they had exploded Gamakichi, you know, that would have been
yeah, just fucking blown into Tad Pulp.
Tad Pulp is pretty good. Good one.
Thank you.
But yeah, you know, they like descend into the base. They start like wandering down their like individual like haunted house corridors. You know, again, like you talked about Jiraiya's like scary swinging lantern hallway, and that was again, I think it's like a fun space that we are in for about like 15 seconds this episode. It is just like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is like very haunted house, right? And I really love when he like goes into like the room and there's the lady playing the koto, right? And like I love how this room is displayed because it is just like, yeah, here you have this like kind of like uncanny seeming like like platform in the middle of the room that's like brightly lit in like yellows and stuff, and there's like the lady sitting there, and like everything else in the room is like so dark that it might as well not exist, and it like lends this like really like artificial quality to it that like kind of like circles back around to later. Yeah, and like Naruto is like walking down the hallway with Sakura, and they're like, you know, just they're encountering some normal traps. There's like some really characterful animation. There's like a fantastic looking cut where like Naruto like steps on like a pressure plate, and like it is just like so like incredibly bouncy and like characterful. This is where Tetsuya Takeuchi is on this scene, right? It is just like just a lot of like really fun like great like swaying and like bouncy movements that are like really impressive.
It's like kind of fucked up how good this episode looks in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like this is like kind of the ideal, right? It's like you will just be like watching a bunch of like stuff that you do not expect to matter that much, but like occasionally somebody just kind of goes all out, and like the results are very visually compelling.
Yeah.
You know, you get like Naruto like fake dying multiple times in this episode to play up like Sakura's like increasingly harrowing haunted house experience. You know, it is there is like a vision here, even if there is maybe not like a particularly cohesive vision for like this arc as a whole.
Yeah. So Mel has a question. So do you think Orochimaru designed the haunted house segment himself, or did he get like someone else to figure it out? Because it thinks it's really fun if Orochimaru was just like mapping out a little zone. It was just like, yes, and here we will put the scary swinging hallway with the Koto lady at the end, right? Just like maximizing, just like, yeah, that would be spooky. Let's fucking do it.
God. Or like there are things that like in this arc that make it feel like Orochimaru would have had to have left some like very like specific like information and directions on how to like fuck with some of these kids, right?
Right.
So yeah, maybe he had like this whole plan. Like he just left the blueprints to the Fuma Clan guys. He had. It's like, okay, I will like piece the out of the space. I am never coming back here. But
Yeah. It likes to think that Orochimaru like knew Jiraiya did the dumb little stick trick, and so he put magnets in the floor.
yeah, he has to go to the fucking hallway with the girl in it. It is gonna keep him like occupied the longest.
Yeah.
It keeps him occupied for so long that fucking Naruto and Sakura would be dead if they did not like handle shit.
Yeah.
It would have worked.
It would have worked. Like literally, if Orochimaru just stayed behind, there would be like lots of dead children.
Was there more you want to say about that point?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, I have covered what I have to say about this half of the episode then.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
From the spike hole, Naruto tells Sakura to go on ahead, and Jiraiya takes a swig of sake to check if it's poisoned, like a genius. He makes ominous small talk with the weird lady. She gets a little too close for comfort, though, so he knocks her away, but she nicked him with a poisoned finger pick, and his arm goes all limp. She wraps him up with hair and drops the ceiling on him. Meanwhile, Naruto makes some clones, but they don't really help. The wall cracks, and Gamakichi makes an entrance as the pit trap fills with water, which would be cool if the ceiling didn't close earlier. Sakura makes her way to a big candlelit pillar room, and Kabuto's there, letting her know that Jiraiya and Naruto are probably dead. Sakura tries to fight him, but freezes in fear when she notices Orochimaru is also in the room.
So yeah, Jiraiya is in girl peril.
Yep.
Working pretty well. He is like you know, this is gonna keep delayed for a long time, and also like I think this thing continues to be like just really fun visually, right?
Yeah. Also, can it say huge fuck up not poisoning the sake, right? Like,
yeah, right. Again, he literally just drinks sake. He's like, oh, good, there's no poison in here. Maybe Orochimaru wanted to make it a little bit more sporting than that, or maybe he just like really wanted to get him by fucking dropping the ceiling on him.
Mel thinks people really underestimate Orochimaru's like really, really good sense of humor.
Yeah.
Mel thinks he's mostly in it for the bit.
It is like so good with this like falls at him too, though, because it is like, oh, the room collapses, right? It is like here's all of these like fucking like levers and like these like ropes and like gears and shit like on the like ceiling platform that just like fucking like descend down rapidly and like try to squish him flat. It is like,
yeah, it's like a big like fake stage ceiling. It's great.
Yeah. Like it really like again, like I talked about it a bit earlier, like really like leaning into like the very like artificial like feeling of this room that Jiraiya like wanders into. I don't know, it is like a really fun bit. It is like really it is just cool. I like a lot of the scary lady visuals too. I like when she like fucking goes like sicko mode and like shoots her hair at him. Her like kind of like jarring like you know like overly snappy movements that she's like you know like threatening him before the ceiling falls on them. It is good stuff.
Yeah.
Naruto meanwhile is basically just being like a silly guy in like a spike pit, you know.
Yeah, he's like positioned like very precariously, like barely holding himself up on like the spikes. And so he summons a bunch of clones, and then the rest of them are doing that same thing, and they can't do anything.
Yeah, okay, it's just a pretty good joke, and it's just like a pretty good visual gag, you know. They all just like instantly mad at him for putting them in this situation.
Yeah.
And then they get all silly looking with the waterfalls in the room, right? Because yeah, it's just like a lot. There's a lot of like really fun visuals in this episode. Yeah,
it gotta say, you know, it has to say like Gamakichi really lucked out with the wet path.
Yeah. Most students do this one for sure. Like I know, like frogs, like toads, you know, need like you know, they need land, right? You know, they can't like stay in water forever. But like, whatever was going on down there, it I mean, frankly, it seems like it was like a little bit less of a priority for Orochimaru because it was just like, yeah, it gets wet and then like it washes the guy into the spike pit that I have over here. He was like kind of running out of steam by the time he decided that one. But you know, I guess it is like that sometimes. You know, you start strong and then you just kind of like sometimes by the end you just have to like you have to wrap it up quick.
Yeah, but the spike pit floods, threatening to drown Naruto. And then we see Sakura.
Yeah, and we don't see Naruto again for the rest of the episode, right? Sakura like wanders off into the ominous room. Like I think this is like like really playing into like the very like stylistic, dramatic lighting of this episode. There's like a there's like a really fun thing where, like a lot of the time like Sakura and Kabuto who are in this room, like their faces are like half in shadow, and like there's just like a like for Sakura's eyes, there's just like there's just like less detail rendered in the one that is in shadow, right? Like rather than like it just being like an effect of like this half the screen is darker. It is just like there's this like kind of flat decision to put like less detail there in a way that I think is like really striking.
Yeah.
I like that Kabuto's always like half standing in shadow, and like his like lens on his glasses that is shadow half his face is glowing. It's just a lot of fun. And then he just starts deciding to be really mean to Sakura.
Kabuto is sort of a mean boy.
Kind of like a mean boy, yeah. He's like, damn, Sakura, you fucking suck shit. You've always sucked shit. You've been bad at everything forever. All your friends are dead now. It's your fault. It is just it is a little extreme, right? But you know, at this point in our like 3 episodes, we can still maybe have the faith of like, okay, maybe this is like catalyzing Sakura getting to do something in this arc, right? Like this episode like ends on kind of a down note for her, but like maybe she can pull us back around, right? You know, maybe there's like a maybe like the putting Sakura through the scary zone will then lead to her like overcoming her fears and you know, being brave, and like maybe she'll like pick up one of these pillars or something. Anything could happen. Anything could happen, you know?
Anything else could happen. Do you want to just move on?
Yeah. Like I mean, like when it comes to the actual like, content of like the discussion that like happens here with Sakura, I feel like most of that is like in the next episode, right? So
yeah,
right? It just like picks up basically immediately from here.
Episode 140, 2 Heartbeats, Kabuto's Trap. Orochimaru goes to take his leave, but Sakura calls out, asking if he already stole Sasuke's body. He has Kabuto tell her Sasuke died and leaves. Sakura nearly accepts her fate and lets Kabuto kill her when Naruto shows up to snap her out of it. Naruto makes a bunch of clones to make Kabuto waste his knives, but Kabuto just lights them all on fire. With the clones burning, Naruto catches Kabuto off guard with a Rasengan, sending him flying into a wall. Kabuto is hurt, but Naruto can't move and discovers a bunch of chakra threads linking his body to Kabuto's. Kabuto explains that the threads link their hearts, so if Kabuto's stops, so too does Naruto's. Kabuto reaches into his chest and pulls out his steel-beating heart.
Okay, so the first thing I want to say about this episode is that this is an episode storyboarded by Toshiki Suru, who I've talked about a bunch before. Obviously, like, you know, like he did a lot of the openings up to this point. He has done a bunch of like my personal favorite episodes so far. He did not direct it this time, and like, you know, he did not have his like usual collaborator Hirofumi Suzuki along for the ride this time. So like in terms of like the animation and like the execution of the board is like a little bit more like subdued, a little bit less you know, like precisely calibrated than a lot of like the like Suru like storyboarder and director episodes. But I think you still get like some like nice like moody and dramatic framing to a lot of this episode, right? Like I think it still manages to play into like the, oh shit, this guy's doing his like scary technique space like pretty well, even if I think it like kind of undercuts itself by like going too big. While I mean, I'm just going to say it, right? Like while like there's somebody disguised as Kabuto, right? Because like when you see like Kabuto, who is a guy you know, pull out his own heart, you're just kind of like, okay, well, this is not actually what is happening here, because Kabuto is not going to fucking die in this episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it still like it's like leads into that kind of like scary space, right? I mean, like the second thing I want to say about this episode, which has like very little to do with the contents of it, is that this is one of the few like anime original episodes I heard about before I like, you know, decided to watch them all myself. And like one of the few episodes of Naruto period I had heard about before I had like really gotten all the way into it, because like my friend that I talked in like high school that I talked about like, you know, anime and manga with a bunch, like but before I had like really like gotten all the way on the Naruto train, they were like, yeah, this week's Naruto is like so fucked up. They had to put like a special warning on it, and this guy like takes out his heart to like try it and like try to like crush it and kill Naruto, and it is like so twisted. It's like a beautiful memory to me.
Yay! Oh, it's so fucked up and twisted.
It is really fucked up and twisted.
Wow.
But, you know, having established That like again like I am not playing around pretending that like this is like Kabuto and like Orochimaru here while I'm talking about this episode because you know like I am pulling back the train on that to talk about how extremely funny that fact like makes the construction of the first part of this episode.
Yeah,
Because there's like Orochimaru is like confiding a bunch of like very like very direct details about like his plans and like his situation, basically for the express purpose of allowing some fucking randos to be a lot meaner to Sakura. Like he does not expect these guys to live long, like certainly not.
No.
So he just like tells them a bunch of shit so they can like make a girl sad.
No, like literally, Orochimaru's plan is that they're going to die here, or they're going to succeed, come and find him and be like, you know, Orochimaru, we did it, yay! And then Orochimaru is going to be like, alright, cool, I told you like way too much information so that you could be mean to that girl, like I'm going to kill you now. Right?
Yeah, right, like... There's just no reason for these people to know this otherwise. Yeah. It makes it so fucking beautiful to me. Like, fucking fake Kabuto here is like, yeah, oh, actually, yeah, I mean, like, no, Orochimaru hasn't taken Sasuke's body yet, you know, it is actually going to take him 3 years, but also Sasuke totally fucking died. He actually, like, as soon as you stopped looking at him, he stopped being able to handle the curse mark well, and he died instantly. I don't know what to tell you, it's really sad, but, like, that's just what happens sometimes.
Oh, God.
Really funny stuff.
Beautiful.
But yeah, no, Sakura does not take this well. Just kind of collapses on the ground. It's like, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna have a knife thrown directly into my skull and die now. But then Naruto's here.
Yay!
Yay! He's here to save Sakura. Yay!
Yay!
Wow!
You know. Yay!
I mean, he does his like fight with fake Kabuto, and you know, probably good for Kabuto's reputation that he is not he's not really here, because he would really struggle to come back from this one. It is like Naruto is just like fucking beating this person's ass with fucking schoolyard pranks here, like just like fucking sticking out his tongue from behind pillars to make him like run out of knives.
Yeah.
But I feel like this shit should not work. This shit should not work against somebody who knows what they are doing.
Yeah.
But fortunately, Naruto is not fighting somebody who knows what they're doing. So, you know, renders Kabuto knifeless except for like one kunai, and then just like runs in there and like beats the shit out of them, which leads to like one of my favorite cuts of Naruto, which is just this like really like shaky, like kind of like blurry shot of like going in on focus of like a bunch of Narutos surrounding the camera and beating the shit out of it.
Yeah. That's so good.
It is so. It is just so delightful to me. It is so delightful to me. Just constant like punching and like metal clanging noises. I have to say, there's like a little bit of a poor showing from Naruto that this is all that he is. Like he basically achieves nothing by like surrounding somebody and like punching them and stabbing them for like 10 seconds. But like you know,
yeah. At least fucking hit him with the fucking Uzumaki barrage. Come on.
Yeah. Like you said in your summary, there's like the Kabuto's fire trick, and then Naruto hits fake Kabuto with the Rasengan, and then things are over, right? Or so it seems. But then it's time for the fucking like Seiko, the deadly Seiko technique.
Yeah, strings.
Strings that go between two people's hearts and make it so that you know they die together. And again, like I said before, it just like. It breaks its own like illusion of this being like a threat. Like I mean, you know, obviously I am not like sitting down for this episode being like, oh, like Naruto is going to die this week, because like
obviously Naruto would not get killed.
Yeah, right. But it's also like I'm also like going, oh, obviously Kabuto is not going to die this week. So there is like like because they have like committed to this like sense of like, oh, this is Kabuto here until like the second half of this episode, right? Like there is like no reason for me to buy into the idea that anything is going to happen here.
Right. Like, yeah. Like they could have just done the reveal before the strings broke.
Yeah, or they could have like right, or like, you know, maybe like the mask gets damaged when like this person gets hit by the Rasengan, and then And Naruto's like, "Oh, you're not Kabuto," and they're like, "Yeah, that's right, but I have this technique that Kabuto doesn't have," and then like does the like
Yeah.
the like fucking I don't remember what this technique is called. Whatever. Um,
Strings.
strings. Yeah. But like there's just like it is just presented in this like weird way that like it feels like robs it of so much attention in the like pursuit of trying to make it seem like a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to say about this half of the episode?
Not really. You want to move on?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on
Okay.
to the afterlife, and then you find out that there's like strings around your heart, and then
Oh,
Mel also
God.
has strings around its heart, and then it pulls its heart out, and it's just like, if 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 Mel's heart stops, then so does Maria's, and then it
Okay, Mel,
squeezes a
honey.
little. Yeah.
Put your heart back in there, okay?
Okay. Also, the strings are
Okay.
gone.
Okay, thank you. Good girl.
Okay.
I might edit out the part where I call you a good girl. We'll see. But
Probably don't.
okay. Well, like, who would be surprised? Who is going to be surprised that we are like this? Okay.
Kabuto squeezes his heart, and Sakura rushes in to cut the threads.
What is this? What was that delivery?
Burger King foot lettuce.
Honey, can I ask you to not do Burger King foot lettuce when you're reading the episode summaries?
No. Okay. Kabuto squeezes his heart, and Sakura rushes in to cut the threads. Nothing seems to work until Sasame rushes in with a special sticker to put on Sakura's knife. Sakura cuts the threads, and Naruto explains how Sasame came to save him and Kamakichi. Sakura asks how she knew how to cut the threads, and she explained that those chakra threads are a Fuma clan thing. Kabuto's face comes off to reveal that he was actually the antlion girl the whole time. She dies after warning Sasame against seeing her cousin. Orochimaru is here again, but his face comes off too, revealing himself to be Arashi. He expands into a big conjoined mutant man with scissor guy and spider set guy growing out of his back.
This half of the episode begins with Sakura, trying to like break the strings, right? And I get it in the immediate context of like, oh, we need to make these strings seem like a big problem, so Sakura can't like cut through them. But also, like in the broader context of this arc where Sakura repeatedly never does anything, it is really like not inspiring. It is really like
Right. Like,
the girl cannot get a single win here.
no. And like we have seen somebody break chakra infused threads before, and it was
Neji. Yeah.
it was Neji, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it would be cool if Sakura had heard about that or something, and was able to demonstrate fine chakra control.
Yeah, and like disrupt the like chakra threads here.
Yeah, right. To show a little bit of promise towards becoming a medical ninja, which is what this
Mm-hmm.
the end of this little arc kind of culminates in, and getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but her going to see Tsunade about becoming her protege, right? And so yeah,
like it would really be a moment for her to have anything here, anything that gestured towards any sort of competency, but that is just not the direction they have elected to go in,
right?
With
yeah, and even if obviously they didn't want to give Sakura a new combat technique, but it's stationary strings, right? It can be a slow and careful thing.
Yeah,
that can't necessarily be done in a fight to make a small chakra scalpel.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that can lend itself towards being oh, this is a thing that is this is a thing that demonstrates the kind of care needed to become a medical ninja, right?
Yeah, like a precise attention to detail, and the ability to make really exacting movements, and really precise to control your chakra. It could have been something, but no, Sasame wanders in with a special sticker to put on a knife and cut through the strings.
Yeah.
Sasame kind of I guess kind of the MVP of this fight in a way, right? like just sort of like haphazardly wandering into like Orochimaru's like fucking like trap dungeon and like being like, oh, I'm just gonna make sure everybody doesn't die here, and coming through completely unscathed. Maybe the true like most impressive Fuma Clan shinobi here. You know, maybe
Oh, absolutely.
not a ton of competition. I guess the girl that like Jiraiya encounters, who like we never learned the name of, I do not think, is like maybe she has
like she's pretty alright too, but she should have poisoned the sake.
Should have poisoned the sake, honestly. Like maybe she just wanted to show off a little bit more, right? Like. You know, maybe she was like planning to go to like brag to Orochimaru, but like, yeah, I actually like I set up this whole like big this whole big ceiling to drop a Jiraiya. It was really fucking funny.
Yeah. Or maybe it was just her sake, right? Like,
yeah, okay, maybe.
Maybe she was just like getting herself a drink when Jiraiya showed up. We're just like, oh fuck, well now I have to be like hospitable or it's suspicious.
Right. Like she hears somebody coming down the fucking hallway and she's like, oh shit, I was like just getting myself a drink, but now I need to like fucking transform into like a to do like a whole thing about this. I need to like make a whole bit. Like, you know, I guess maybe a lot of like the traps were like single usage stuff, but you know, since the Sasame, like at the very least, she made very good time through the like spikes hallways and everything that Naruto and Sakura had to run through.
Yeah, right. Like even if like if they were already sprung and like she wasn't gonna get skewered, it's still like row after row after row of just like fucking bamboo fences.
Yeah, you gotta like cut through that shit.
Yeah. Though remember,
or like turn yourself small. Maybe you could do that probably.
Maybe, but consider she does have special stickers that turn knives into lightsabers. So
okay, yeah. She seems to be able to get like a lot of mileage out of this. Is getting out of her, but she can get like a lot of mileage out of like a fucking kunai.
Yeah.
The threads are cut. And the Antlion girl has already pulled her heart out, and that shit is not going back in. You know, she does not have the jutsu to put her heart back into her chest.
Kabuto could have just put it back in.
Yeah, Kabuto totally could have just put it back in.
Like. It would be so funny if it was actually Kabuto here and like the strings are cut and Kabuto just kind of put the heart back in. It was just like, well, this is embarrassing. Okay, yeah. I need to leave.
Yeah, I'm heading out. You go deal with Arashi. Sasame recognized her as one of the Fuma Clan Jonin, and she talks about how she was like resurrected by Orochimaru. So I guess she like literally did die from her like one big like wing shot in the.
No, I think she's just being dramatic.
Maybe.
I mean, do you remember how she was talking before?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, fair. But this is still like, if this is the Fuma Clan's Jonin,
yeah,
like, I have to say,
really rough.
Yeah, like they also talk about how like the other two people on her like fucking team from earlier were also like Fuma Clan Jonin, right? Because when Arashi comes out, he's like, yeah, this is the power of the Fuma Clan Jonin has been combined into one body.
Fucking scissors guy,
spider sack guy. Or like if this like you have scissors guy, you have spider sack guy, and you have a girl who does not have any attacks that do not like immediately put her out of commission. If this is what you have to work with, like, I do not think the Fuma Clan is ever coming back. I am sorry, guys. You might just maybe just go steal. Just go steal.
Yeah, no fucking wonder you didn't have a hidden village. Like, not to be mean, right? Like, sometimes you're just not cut out for shit.
Yeah, they just do not make these guys impressive. They just do not do a good job of making these people seem like they can do a lot. Generally speaking. But yeah, you know, Arashi comes out.
Good for him.
Okay, thank you. You know, does not want to pretend to be Orochimaru for very long. Maybe if you like stop pretending to be Orochimaru, it's like the opposite of coming out.
Yeah.
coming out as straight.
Yeah.
You know, he does his like fucking. Again, he reveals his like big like twisted like monster form that has two guys in them, and it is again not the most inspiring cliffhanger considering how pathetic those guys were, right? Like, you know, like the powers combined don't seem like
okay, neither of them had powers,
right? Like, you could just have one guy who had that sack of spiders and the like scissors on their arm, and it would be the same. Like, Orochimaru was just fucking with this dude, right? He was like Yeah, okay, I'm gonna put you under like a really like intense experimental surgery that will like give you like powers beyond your wildest imagining. And he just like grabs 3 fucking losers together.
He's just fucking human centipedes them.
He thinks he is being so funny right now.
He is though.
Yeah.
Mel hates that this is like a really funny thing. Mel can't help but love Orochimaru. Mel thinks this is fucking hilarious.
It is pretty funny. Right, like you take this arc with the knowledge that like Orochimaru just does not give a shit about any of these people at all, and it just turns everything involving him into like beautiful comedy.
Yeah.
As this like dark farce about these people who are like fucking hitching their wagon to like the worst car possible and getting like extremely fucked up over it. Like maybe not the intent, but like probably the most fun I can have with these episodes.
Yeah.
Outside like some of the like outstanding visuals.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you want to say about this one?
No, you ready to move on?
I am ready to move on.
Okay. Episode 141, Sakura's Determination. Naruto fights the resident evil creature while Sasame struggles against Sakura to go and stop them. Sakura knocks her out and carries her out of the way. Naruto gets webbed up and scissored in half, so Sakura gets too scared to move again. She almost takes a big stab, but Naruto jumps out to take the hit instead. Naruto makes a bunch of clones, but the fight doesn't go great. Arashi puts Naruto in a shape and squeezes him bad. Sasame runs up and pokes him in the shoulder, so the spider guy just kind of sloughs off of him into a meat puddle, causing Arashi to wake up long enough to say he's sorry and beg her to kill him.
So we had our fun making fun of, this bad idea for like a strong combined guy.
Mm-hmm.
But like realistically speaking, I think they like pull it off better than I expected.
Yeah.
And like I feel like a lot of that has to go to like Shinji Sato, who I've talked about before, just like a guy who is maybe not going to be like the first on anybody's list of like, oh, this is my favorite Naruto director, but a person who like is still like really consistently able to bring a lot of like really fun like action staging here. I think there's a lot of like fun stuff like with this fight and like what they like do with like a weird like 3 guys in one who is like kind of stretchy and like, you know, this guy is definitely using the power of having a scissors and like some spider shit vaguely in a way that was not really evidenced in the previous episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And like we also have like one of the first like real like standout cuts from like Nozomu Abe, who is like somebody I've talked about previously on this podcast as like an animator who like eventually becomes like a big name, but like in a lot of his early presence on the show is like fairly understated in terms of his presence. But like there's like a really cool scene where like when Naruto makes a bunch of clones to like try and fight the like fucked up guy. There's just like a lot going on in like the animation that happens there. There's like a lot of like just some like really like complex scenes. Like here is again they're like a bunch of Narutos and like a weird 3 guys in one fighting. There's like some fun stuff where like Naruto like tries to like grab onto the scissors and like retracts into his like fucked up flesh mass and like comes out somewhere else to like stab the clone. And it's just like striking and snappy. You know, like the spider guy in the sequence like does like webs that could actually like inhibit like a human-sized person.
Mm-hmm.
Which you know, he was really holding back earlier, I guess.
Yeah. Weird how it took being combined into a big 3-guy monster man to realize that webs work better when they're big and can tie a person up.
Yeah. It also took being combined into like a 3-guy monster person to be able to hit anybody with the scissors at all.
Yeah. Or even like attack with them that isn't like bringing them slowly up to somebody who is stationary.
Yeah. And so like, you know, maybe like this is Arashi's ability to like coordinate like these this whole body at once. Maybe that's a special ability because like he does not seem to be bringing anything that is like specifically his to the table, right? Like when he does his like putting Naruto in a shape technique.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sasame is specifically like, what the fuck? Why does he know that? He shouldn't know that.
Yeah, right? Like
it's like, what the fuck was that guy doing normally?
Orochimaru's got it because he had really sturdy legs. Orochimaru's just like, You look like you could fit 2 or 3 more guys on your back.
Yeah.
With leg strength like that?
Yeah. Hey Orochimaru, when am I gonna get the special mission that makes me that makes me like able to restore my clan? Oh, just wait for it. It'll be really funny.
Yay!
Yeah. God. Uh. But yeah, also, yeah. So like but there is like more with this guy that I was like worried about when I saw his combined monster form in the previous episode. A lot of the fighting in this is like pretty fun and pretty well staged.
Yeah.
A lot of the Sakura stuff in this is again like it is a lot of her almost getting hit. It definitely seems like Arashi is also under the make Sakura feel bad directive. Because like while he was fighting Naruto, he's just like, "Damn, Naruto must suck so bad being having Sakura on your team. She isn't worth shit. Like, what the hell is wrong with her?" It is just so like extreme. It is just so extreme. Like it is kind of like how we were talking about like in the like Forest of Death all the way back. We were talking about like there is just like so much like concerted people saying that Sakura sucks that it like must be building up to something. Except there's like even less of a payoff here.
Yeah. Like, she doesn't even do the one cool thing.
Right. Like, when Naruto gets put in, like, the danger pyramid, when he's being squished, you would think maybe, like, oh, wow, Naruto is, like, out of the count for this fight, and Sakura is going to have to step up.
Nope.
She does not do that, though. She doesn't do it, though. She just, yeah, I do not know, right? But okay, fortunately for everybody, Sasame is still here.
Yep.
She stabs her one side. I checked. I paid close attention to like see if like she had like one of her special tags, but like no, it is just a normal kunai. So like maybe Orochimaru just built this guy bad.
Yeah. You just fucking puncture it and it fucking deflates like a balloon. Like,
yeah,
awful. So fucking funny.
Yeah. Naruto is not like again. I guess it tracks like Naruto is not getting in a good hit on him.
Mm-hmm.
But like it is kind of stunning how little they do to like sell the like little poke that she does as like anything other than like a little poke that like melts an entire man off of him.
Yeah, right. Like the reaction is so dramatic. Like fucking chakra shoots out of the body's eyes and mouth, and just like he just fucking melts off. Like,
right. It was like, okay, did they like have like a Sasame fight here, but they like fucking sent this like the storyboards in to like the higher up. They're like, okay, no, hold on. Sasame is like a like. Clear as Sasame is like a girl, right? Like we cannot have her doing this. Like we need to have her. But like they did not get so far as like have her like not do anything, so she just does nothing and it has like the biggest effect possible.
Yeah.
I do not know why it happens like this.
It's so strange.
It is pretty strange. Did you have anything else you want to say about this half of the episode?
No.
Okay.
Sakura steps in between Arashi and Sasame and does nothing while she's about to die again. Naruto calls out from the shape and distracts Arashi long enough for Sasame to leapfrog over Sakura and smack his hands out of their shape-maintaining position, letting Naruto break free. The blast from the shape breaking melts Scissor Guy off of Arashi in time for him to shield Sasame from debris. Jiraiya shows up on a toad, and Arashi passes off the unconscious Sasame to the gang for them to make their escape. He explains that Sasuke is still alive, and that this whole place is a decoy to fuck with people trying to track him down, as the flesh puddles crawl their way back up his body. The Fuma clan's good now, and the gang goes home. Back at the Leaf, Sakura confronts Tsunade about becoming her protege.
Right. So, something I forgot to mention in the previous half of the episode is that, like, in the, like unending torrent of, like, Sakura, like, not being able to do anything, like, at the beginning of, like, the fight in this episode, she, like, knocks Sasame out to bring her to safety. Right?
Yeah.
You mentioned your summary. And then Sasame just gets back up again. Sakura can't even fucking knock her out, right?
Yeah. Thank fucking God.
Yeah, like, again, that is the only reason they are not all dead now, but, like...
Sakura should have knocked herself out, frankly.
God. Sad but true.
No, they should have... Sakura should have been able to do fucking anything.
Right, but no, instead she jumps in and like blocks the big like scissor stab in front of Sasami. And she's like, now I'm not afraid to die. Now I'm like ready to die for something I believe in. And Naruto's like yelling from the fucking shape to be like, hey, Sakura, maybe you should not die actually.
Sakura. Being ready to die for something you believe in doesn't mean you stand there and let yourself die. It means you fight and fight and fight and fight and fight.
But yeah, so I guess Sakura's gonna take more work to reach that point. Because yeah, Sasame. She goes up. She slaps his hands all the way. I like kind of forgot she did this until I was looking at your summary, because like when they talk about this later in the episode, Naruto's like, yeah, Sakura, seeing you try so hard was the only reason I was able to break out of that shape and not be crushed. It was the power of like worrying about girls that made me so strong. And it's just like patently untrue. It was like, oh no, Sasame just saved the day again.
Yeah. God.
If Sasame ever learned a fucking jutsu, it would be over for everybody else in the entire world.
Yeah, literally, right? Like, she even mentioned at like the beginning of this arc that she like just started shinobi training in order to like save Arashi, right? Like,
right, yeah. Like putting everybody else to shame, including Jiraiya.
Yeah, like literally.
She is going places, if assuming she ever has the opportunity to do anything again, which like she will not, in terms of like she is not showing up again.
No,
but still. So Naruto like breaks out of the shape, and like having broken out of the shape basically defeats Arashi, and then like he's like going over to talk to Sakura more, but like, yeah, you should not be so ready to die. And like a pillar starts falling from the ceiling, and like Naruto immediately runs under the pillar to get squished with Sakura.
Yeah, it's okay because there is a froggy.
There is a froggy. Jiraiya has a big toad now. He's not summoned Gamakichi again. Or like Gamatatsu or whoever else is a baby right now. Everything's fine. Everybody gets out of there, They all wave their tearful goodbyes to Orochi. Who's like, yeah, all the guys who melted are like pooling apart my feet again, so I cannot leave. I have to get buried under a lot of rocks now.
Just move. Just get picked up away from the fleshmen. Let them get squished.
No.
Yeah, you're right.
Would never work. Yeah, like he passes on the information, like Sasuke's still out there, and like this is not like Orochimaru's like main base, which makes the whole situation with like nobody has ever been played harder than the fucking feudal lord of the land of rice paddies, who like basically like abandoned every like military that his country had in exchange for Orochimaru building a basement that he didn't care about very much somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Like literally 3 people in it.
Yeah. Like maybe Orochimaru like used to be operating out of here more, right? Like it does look kind of like the one he like kept like walking in and out of, like or like earlier in the anime that was adapted to manga. But like,
and it gets the impression from like later stuff that like Orochimaru has lots of little bases.
Yeah. I know there are more like arcs in the stretch that are about like other little bases Orochimaru has. I know that like later when like Sasuke is like putting together his team like in Shippuden, like he goes to like even more Orochimaru bases to like find his special guys.
It's just funny.
Jiraiya brings everybody back to the town where like he first encountered all like Hanzaki and all of his guys. Leaves Sasame and the like girl that he like defeated off screen with them.
It wants to point out this like crowd shot of the like Fuma clan as like being kind of interesting because some people, including the girl that Jiraiya encountered in the hideout, are wearing the same like camo pattern, like the cow print camo pattern that the sound guys in the tuning exams were wearing.
Okay, so like maybe there were other guys who like were like I did not pick up on that. Maybe there were like other guys who were like in the like main like Fuma clan village somewhere that we never see, who he was like, stop being here, Orochimaru's gone. And then they were like, okay, let's go be like, are they gonna all go be thieves together now? I am not really sure what the like. I guess maybe they're going to rebuild the Fuma clan together, whatever that looks like. Maybe they'll convince the feudal lord that like Orochimaru fucked off.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? Not a lot of like thought given to like wrapping up the actual like situation here. We are never coming back.
Yeah.
They're all like wandering back home. Naruto like Naruto tells Sakura how important that how important she was in like him being able to break out of the shape, because he has already forgotten about Sasame completely.
Mm-hmm.
And like Jiraiya talks about how like, hey, this mission might have been a wash, but at least we got the new information about how we have like a 3-year grace period before Orochimaru takes Sasuke's body.
But like, no,
that is not new information. He explained this to Naruto like 6 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Why did this happen? Like, it just seems like such an obvious like thing to not write in your episode.
Right, like if you're gonna like stretch. If you're gonna like stretch and say like they learned something new, it would be that like, oh yeah, no, we learned that like Orochimaru is like for sure planning on keeping Sasuke alive instead of just killing him because he can't use him right away, right? Like,
which is like, yeah, I mean, you could probably say that just because he wants the fucking Sharingan really bad, but
yeah, but it's good to have like the confirmation that like
yeah, for sure,
plans haven't changed.
It is just like. It is like weird how many gestures this arc like makes towards mattering and how few of them it is able to do anything with.
Like just make episodes of the show that don't matter.
Yeah, right. Like
let's see what fucking Kiba's up to.
Yeah, just commit to doing some inessential shit, right? Like maybe we get some fun adventures with some guys we like, but this was not like a inspiring like. First showing, right? Like again, like the only thing that like really like sticks here out of this whole arc that like I feel like has these like aspirations of like trying to like seem like it is a big deal is like the stuff at the end of this episode, which is like literally just directly from the manga, where you have like the conversation with Shikamaru and Tsunade, where like Shikamaru's like, I've been thinking it would actually be good to have doctors on our ninja teams, and I was like, yeah, idiot, I've known this for years.
God, Shikamaru, goddamn Shikamaru.
But, she explains how like it is actually not that simple because you need all of these like this very like specific list of proficiencies. You need to like really be like committing to like training people from like you need to like restructure your whole like educational philosophy around like cultivating medical ninja, and like it takes like a special something that like maybe Sakura has, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which this series of like 6 episodes has not really done much to elucidate, because it just kind of seems like what she has is the ability to show up in a fight and not do anything and get sad.
Yeah,
I'm like, I guess maybe this has happened enough times now to like catalyze her into like, I do not know, like I just do not know what like what was supposed to have changed with her like through this arc, because it just like
it doesn't know.
Like it's just like playing all like hitting all the buttons of like, oh, Sakura cannot do anything, like with just extremely like slamming on those over and over again to like no real end. As like a like having gone into this arc with the expectation like, oh yeah, this is like this is why they like shuffled like all of Sakura stuff out of that one episode so they could like try and have it here and like maybe build up to it more. It is just like it is hugely disappointing because it has nothing to like say about her, like no real like idea of how to like use her character in like a like action story like Naruto is.
Yeah.
But like I guess at least she's like training with Tsunade now. She's like committed to doing that. I'm maybe I am curious if like there are going to be any like signs of that, like if she like keeps being in these like anime original arcs. I'm not getting my hopes up, but like
Mm-hmm.
I could always be surprised.
Always be surprised.
Is there anything else you had to say about this one?
No, it doesn't think so.
Okay. Well,
what are we watching next week?
Next week we are watching episodes 142, 143, and 144 of Naruto.
Nice.
Yeah.
And hey, if you don't want to wait, check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/Konoha Crush. All one word, Konoha Crush. For just $3 a month, you get episodes up to a week early. And for $5, you get access to our bonus show, Narukai Uzumaki. We talk about like isekai and isekai adjacent stuff. Right now we're watching through Bofuri, so the episode on that is going to be pretty soon. While we're on the Patreon, while we're on the Patreon, Mel wants to offer a very special thanks to our joining tier patrons, Izzy and friend of the show, Rife. Check out their streams at twitch.tv/subspaceskater. All one word, subspace skater. Any images we talk about during the show can be found in our Twitter, twitter.com/Konoha Crush, all one word, Konoha Crush. We have a Tumblr too, konohacrushcast.tumblr.com. Maria and Mel both stream on Twitch.
Wow.
Mel streams at twitch.tv/GuinevereTeef, GuinevereTeef.
Yeah, and I stream over at twitch.tv/VerdictVelvet.
Yeah. Mel streams. Mel is working through a bunch of Zelda games in anticipation of the new one that's coming out. And also on Fridays, Maria and Mel both play Monster Hunter together over on Mel's channel.
Yeah, and like for me, like on Wednesdays, I am like playing every Fire Emblem game in order, and on Thursdays, I am gonna have like kind of like a like not so like committed of a project, but just like kind of like picking through games that I've like wanted to check out for a while. I've like never really like committed to finishing. Right now, I'm playing Chrono Trigger, which is like one of my big gaps in terms of like big classic RPGs. I guess I have not figured out what will be after that, but I just started that, so I probably have time.
Yay! Okay, thanks for listening, and remember, there is no such thing as filler.